2009. Well, since then, he's hit the top of the charts, performed to thousands in stadiums all over the world, and is now taking on his latest challenge, donning the Technicolor Dreamcoat in the stage production of Joseph. The UK tour concludes at Southampton's Mayflower this week, and Joe popped in to see me earlier today to tell me more about the show and the tour.
It's been amazing. Like, the reaction to the show has been so positive. The reviews have been fantastic, and I've genuinely I knew I was going to enjoy it, but I kind of didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I have, which is great to leave a tour at the end, because, you know, they're quite grueling, you know, a lot, like any tour that I do, the schedules are normally quite grueling, and it's always wonderful if you leave it at the end and you don't actually want it to end, and that's how I feel. I'm kind of like, oh, I could have a couple of days off and sleep and then do another 8 or 9 weeks, so it's quite sad, but it's been amazing. It's been really positive.
How did you prepare for it? Because, as you said, you need a fair bit of stamina to do a musical theatre show, and you're doing 8 shows a week. 10 you're doing?
A week, yes.
Crikey. 10 shows a week then, and moving from city to city, town to town each week. Yeah. How do you get ready for that?
I'm used to it. Like, I've always toured quite extensively, like, with me solo stuff.
Yeah.
And I've always done kind of like 4 or 5 shows a week, which is like an hour and a half to a 2-hour show, and it's just me on stage, so it's always quite intense vocally, and you're travelling each place, so I'm kind of used to it in that sense. But with this, it's kind of, you're in a character, you're running off stage doing changes, you know, all of that kind of stuff is not, you know, I do changes in my show, but it's very different.
Yes.
It's a very different world to a pop concert, to doing a musical theatre show. It's kind of, I keep fit and I exercise and stuff, but it's one of them things where if you just actually don't think about it, it kind of just happens.
Yeah.
And you just kind of, it's very psychological. You can kind of psych yourself out a bit and go, oh my God, I'm really tired. And before you know it, you get a bug and you're ill. Whereas if you kind of just plough through it and just be like, yeah, having a great time, come on, next show, it's a bit like a military operation kind of thing, just like get on with it. And it's been fine. It's been really, you know, everybody's had kind of the odd bug here and there, which happens.
Yeah. And then it goes around the entire company really quickly.
Well, I'm really blatant about it. If somebody's ill, I'm like, don't touch us, don't speak to us, stay away until you've had it for 3 days, and then we know you care. And they're like, oh my God, you're so horrible. And I'm like, no, but I know what it's like. Once you get a bug on tour, it's so hard to get rid of it, because it's so hard to get back to being just healthy again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wash my hand. Hi, nice to see you. Don't wash my hands.
Cover you in antibacterial gel.
Exactly. It's all backstage. They've got it all round the thing. If anyone's ill, everyone's like, as soon as they come off stage, washing their hands.
It's like a hospital. 10 shows a week as well, though. Do you ever sort of have that Groundhog Day feeling where you're in the middle of, I don't know, close every door, thinking, I've already done this today. Is it yesterday? Is it tomorrow? Where am I?
Well, it's there. We do 3 on a Saturday, and that's when, that's the one where you've really got to be switched on, because you start on a Saturday and everyone's like, oh, it's the last day of the week, like, it's exciting, you know, it's like our Friday. It's the weekend tomorrow, we've got 2 days off, and you're really excited for the first show. You get on for the second one, and it kind of hits you that, oh, this is not like the last show of the day. And then by the third one, your brain starts to go, oh my God, you're nearly finished now, relax. But the other part of your body is like, I've done this before, hang on a minute, I've already done this scene, am I saying the right line? And you really have to concentrate. Like, I kind of lose concentration very easily, so I'm really strict with myself on a Saturday. I'm like, slap yourself, come on, concentrate, it's only the second show. But the lovely thing about this show is that it brings in such a high energy, positive audience that they kind of just carry you through it. They're up on their feet, they're singing along, their faces, as soon as the show, like, the curtain goes up and you start singing Any Dream Will Do, the faces just light up, you know, and it kind of just, when that happens, you kind of just forget about everything, and you're like, oh wow, you know, look how happy we're making people, you know, and look how at the end of the show they're up on their feet and they're singing along and clapping and just genuinely having the time of their life. It really gives off that vibe, this show. It's such a positive vibe, so that massively helps as well.
It's got so much energy in it, and it's quite a short show, isn't it? Because it's sort of aimed at a younger audience, but families alike, and it starts at 7 o'clock, the evening show, which is always good as well, because we're all in bed by 9:30, which is marvellous. But the energy in it must be very, very contagious, not just for you, for the entire company.
Yeah, well, the first part of the show is quite physical for me, because it's all the kind of brothers trying to kidnap him and everything, and it's like it's great. It's like a 40-minute cardio workout the first half, because I'm literally running left, right and centre all over the stage. But then obviously at the end of the show, when it finishes, or everybody thinks it's finished, we do a huge like medley at the end, which is like
the Joseph Mega Mix.
Yeah, and it turns into a pop concert, which is great for me because I can really react with the audience. I can wave to people. I can get them to join in and clap along, which is more a kind of home for me. You know, like I love being able to interact with the audience. So I'm really happy we get to do that part of the show. But again, you get to that bit and you think, oh, we're finished now, and then the medley's like, I think it's like 20 minutes long. But the audience love it. They're absolutely eating it up. They're up on their feet. They're singing along, which is great. You know, it's wonderful.
Was this always part of the career plan to do musical theatre? Because last time we spoke, you were getting ready for your Evolution tour, which I know was massively successful, and we know you're originally from X Factor. Was this always on the plan?
I was a massive fan of it, like before, like at school, and I went to a performing arts college and trained there and everything. But I was always a little bit frightened of it, in the sense that I kind of fell into the trap of like, I knew that obviously I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful fan base, you know, and they've been so supportive, and I fell into that trap a little bit of kind of just sticking to what I knew a little bit for a while, and I was like, oh well, you know what, people are enjoying this, people are coming to the shows, so this is just what I'm going to do, I'm just going to enjoy it. But a little part of us kind of always wanted to do it, but I was a little bit frightened of the whole acting side of things, and obviously, you know, coming from a show like X Factor, people do judge you and write about you and like to say things and critique and things like that, and I'd got to that point where I was still, you know, people come and review the shows and stuff, but I was in a little bit of a safe place with it all. I was experienced in my field and I knew what I was doing, and then when I was asked to do it, I had that moment where I was like, shall I do it? Shall I not? And shall I put myself out there for more critique? You know, you step into a whole different arena. And then I remembered, you know, I'm one of them people, I like to put pressure on myself, so I was like, come on, like, take on the challenge, and, you know, if it works, it works, if it doesn't, it doesn't. And thankfully people have loved it, you know, and I've loved it as well, and it's made us think, you know, I'd love to do, I'll always do my stuff, but it's made us think I'd love to do something else like this as well, and kind of balance between the two.
Yeah, I've seen some amazing reviews about you in this show, because I know quite a few people that have taken on the role before, and your reviews have absolutely stormed it. Would you do another tour of this, or have you had enough and want to maybe look at something else?
You know, I don't know. I've really, really enjoyed it, so it's a case of just seeing what happens, you know. All of these things are, like, discussions that go on all the time, you know, and it all depends on my schedule and timings of things like that. If we could make it work, then I'd 100%, you know, I'd love to do a little bit of it again, because I think it would be fun. But we're not really at that stage yet, so we'll see what happens.
You mentioned about being critiqued and the whole sorts of reviews, not just of your music, but also of your life. And you've been very much in the public arena since X Factor, and you publicly came out, and I've been looked at stuff in the newspapers the other week. And there were headlines about your weight.
Oh, yeah.
And I just, how do you deal with all that?
I mean, you have to just take a bit of you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, and you do have to laugh at it.
Yeah.
You have to laugh
at it. That must be so hard.
It is. I used to find it really hard, and then I kind of just thought, it used to really stress us out in the first, like, year and a half, and I used to be like, well, that's not true, like, that's really not. And then I got to a point where I kind of just was like, you're going to spend, if this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life and job, and, you know, and you have to understand that it's massively a part of, and it massively aids part of your career as well. You know, it's you can't do one without the other. So you can kind of sit and complain about it and be like, oh my god, it's terrible and woe is me, or you can just be like, do you know what it is? They're going to write something anyways. Let them get on with it. And, you know, every now and again I'll get on Twitter and make a funny comment about it and just shut it down, you know, and that's kind of how I've always dealt with it. With the weird thing, I did that last year, you know, it was a bad angle of a photo, and they did this whole story about how I changed and from an 18-year-old. That tends to be what happens. That's human biology. You do change as you grow up. And that's kind of what I did. I made a funny comment about it and just shut it down. I think that's just the way to deal with it. It's pointless fighting back stupid articles that don't really make sense.
No, you dealt with it, and you deal with stuff in a very, very dignified way, and my hat goes off to you for that. So what's going to be next then after Joseph? Can we see you back in the charts soon?
Yeah, well, I've kind of, everything album-wise has been on hold because of obviously this schedule, and I went
You mean you can't write an album while you're doing 10 shows? What's wrong with you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not superhuman. No, I mean, I do still write, and every now and again, if I have a day off, I always write songs, and and when I can get in the studio, I do, you know. But I actually have probably an album's worth of material now. Some recorded, some that isn't yet. And it's just a case of getting it all together, you know. And I want to have time to promote it properly. I don't want to just put it out there and go, oh well, I'm now doing this now, and I can't really do that, you know. To do an album successfully and properly, you have to have a clear at least 7 months in your diary to kind of commit to all of the, you know. So it's not as plain and simple as just recording it and getting it out there. So it's definitely on the way. But when this finishes, I've got a little bit of a break, and then I go out on tour with my stuff. The Northern Light tour we're doing, which is going all the way around the UK.
Oh, brilliant!
And dates are on joemckelderryofficial.com. I'm going to be completely honest. I haven't even looked where I'm going yet. I know the few odd dates, but it's going to be a case of...
What month does it start in?
It starts in August with like a few warm-up shows, and then the bulk of it starts in October, and it goes right the way through November.
Oh, you really don't get much of a break then, do you?
I have the whole of September off.
Okay.
So I'm planning on chilling out and going on a few holidays then. But until then, I've got it's still full steam ahead at the minute.
And what better way to end your tour of Joseph than in Southampton?
Yeah, I haven't been in the venue yet, but they said it's incredible.
Oh, it's lovely. Your dressing room, it's amazing.
Well, I've got a bath in the dressing room.
Yeah, bath in the dressing room, yeah.
It's the first time I've had a bath.
Really?
Yeah, I've never had a bath in the dressing room before.
No bed, but a bath.
I had a bed last week.
Did you?
We were in Milton Keynes last week, and when I got there, there was a fully made bed with sheets and everything.
Fantastic.
I didn't even use it.
I was going to say, 10 shows a week, you don't have time, do you? Joe, I'm looking forward to seeing the show tonight, and good luck with the tour. We will talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Thanks.